Okay, what we're looking at right there is the fourth Mars talisman from the Greater Key of Solomon, and that was worn around the neck of either Layla Waddell or Commander Marston. And this is the lamen, or the sigil, if you will, of Bartzabel. That actually spells out the word Bartzabel, I think, drawn upon the pattern of the three-layered 22-petaled rose. And we're doing all of this because and that's the lamen that Crowley wore in the Evocation of Bartzabel that we've been reading for the last 3 days. And we're going to conclude it today. Now, if you were with me the last few sessions, you know that this ritual was composed masterfully. Okay. It was a magical literary tour de force. Okay. It was gorgeous. It complied. It harmonized with the Solomonic formula to a T. The banishings and the purifications and the preparation of the material basis, which was actually Victor Newberg volunteering to sit in the triangle and be possessed with the spirit of Bartzabel. They had some questions that they were going to ask it. It was all absolutely, literally textbook perfect. And not only that, throw in Crowley's lyrical evocations and conjurations and spells and poetry that intended to elevate the consciousness of all the who were participating. It was god awful beautiful. Okay. Far more work than I have ever done with the Solomonic magic ceremony. If I thought I had to elevate myself to that level of creativity, I would leave this kind of magic totally alone. It's just gorgeous, and if you read it over, you'll find hints of how to activate the entire hierarchy of spirits above the spirits you're working with, and how to make sure everybody gets tipped. You bribe everybody. You bribe the entire spectrum of Mars hierarchy of spiritual forces, right from the aspect of Mars Godhead itself, right down to Bartzabel. Now, it took 3 days for me to read that stuff, okay, and it's very cool. And now it comes what actually happened. What happened? All this work that these four people did in the living room of Commander Marston, all dressed up, did everything right. The suffumigations and the lustrations and the purifications and the banishings and the pentagram and the hexagram and the right kind of floor cloth or circle on the floor. It was just all perfect. But if you've read my book, My Life with the Spirits, you'll know that my first attempt at working with the lesser Key of Solomon and the evocation of Oribos, you'll know that it was a comedy of errors, bordering on an industrial accident. But somehow, in all of my bumbling and uh, self-injury, it worked out. As a matter of fact, it actually did everything it was supposed to do, but in a way that I never expected, but in a way that leaves me with a healthy respect for this kind of work. So I'm saying all of this to prepare you for, after all of this stuff that these four people did, here's how it ended up. We had Victor Newberg sitting in the triangle, getting ready to get himself possessed. As a matter of fact, he should be possessed by now. Everything was done by the book, and what wasn't by the book, Crowley wrote more of the book, and it was by that book too. Here's where we left it yesterday. This is after the supreme evocation. Come unto me, Bartzabel, after many pages. If I was Bartzabel, I'd say, stop, I'm here. Shut up. But it says, and if he come not, let the chief magus and his assistants humble themselves mightily and repeat these holy invocation even unto thrice. And if he still be obdurate and disobedient unto the words of power, the chief magus shall assume the dignity of Chem. Okay, that's this, where you're doing this with this hand and with your thumb at the base of your crotch there. You're sort of like making obscene shadows on the pyramid with your thumb there. The sign of puer. Is it puer? Anyway, it's the N sign of NOx. Okay? And if he still be okay, assume the dignity of Chem, and conjure him and curse him as his own ingenuum shall direct. Yet, if the rites have been duly performed, he will assuredly have manifested before this. That's where we left it off yesterday. And these will probably be the tokens of the manifestation. A ruddy light. And in another note, he said, or it could be a bluish, deep blue light. But here, a ruddy light will play about the form of the material basis, or around Victor is the material basis. Or even a dark luster beetle brown or black. And the face thereof shall be suffused with blood, and the heart be violently. And its words will be swift and thick and violent. The voice thereof must be entirely changed. It may grow deep and hoarse, or at least strained and jerky, and it may be that it will suffer the torment of burning. On the appearance of the spirit, much incense is thrown upon the censer. Part 4, Dealings with Bartzabel, that mighty spirit. Now here's the charge, and this is what Crowley said. Hail, Bartzabel, and welcome, O thou mighty spirit of Madim. Welcome unto us. Art thou who comest in the name of Graphiel and of Kamael and of Elohim Gibor and of Ra-Hur-Kuit, the Lord of the Aeon? We talked about that pecking order yesterday and the day before. I charge thee to answer and obey. And he gives him a list of questions. How shall the kingdom of the Aeon be established? Will success attend that particular design of which it is not lawful to speak? And that one's, I'm assuming, was Commander Marston's military thing. We shall obtain power to aid the weak. In what manner? Give us a sign. How shall we give power to the weak? Give us a sign of the courage and energy of Mars that floweth and ever shall flow through us by virtue of this ceremony. Let us know how we're going to get charged up here. Lastly, O thou spirit Bartzabel, lay thine hands upon this sword, whose point I then place upon thine head, and swear faith and obedience unto me by Ra-Hoor-Khuit, the Lord of the Aeon, saying after me, and you got to take this pledge to me. Okay, I, Bartzabel, the spirit of Mars, do hereby swear by the glory of him that is the Lord of the Aeon, and by the might of Elohim Gibor, and by the fear of Kamael, and the hosts of the fiery spirits, serpents, and by Graphael, whose hand is heavy upon me, before which names I tremble every day, that I will punctually fulfill this present charge, not perverting the sense thereof, but obedient to the inmost thought of the chief Magus, that I will be ever the willing servant of thee and thy companions, in the spirit of truth, in force and fire, that in departing I will do no hurt to any person or thing, and in particular that of the material basis, shall not suffer through this ceremony, but shall be purified and fortified thereby, that I will be at peace with thee and seek never to injure thee, but to defend thee against all thine enemies, and to work eternally for thy welfare. Finally, that I will be ready to come unto thee to serve thee whensoever I am invoked and called forth, whether by a word or a will, or by this great potent conjuration of magic art. Amen. Now that charge there is a pretty cool and well-composed charge. It avoids many potential loopholes and things like that. Once again, it's a great charge. Very freaking wordy, though. Okay. Now, all of that, by every indication, as far as I'm concerned, it was absolutely flawless. And here's the result. In response to the first question, how shall the kingdom of the Aeon be established? Here's how the conversation goes. Bartzabel says, or Victor, I may not speak of this thing, save thou give me the sign of the third vault. I'll tell thee this sign that was given thee secretly in the third vault. Crowley says, what hast thou to do with the third vault? Bartzabel, I've given you the sign. The Aeon shall be reestablished when the slain child is placed upon the altar of Ra-Hoor-Khuit. The slain child on the altar of Ra-Hoor-Khuit. Crowley says, say more regarding this child. Is that the child that was carried to death by SW? And this was probably in reference to the Crowley and Rose lost the child that she was pregnant with in 1904. She was carrying that child in her. She was pregnant with that child when the Book of the Law was dictated. And when she started to fall into a trance and say, it's all about the child, it's all about the child, I think they both were thinking, they're talking about this child, the physical child. So Crowley asked slain child upon the altar. Uh, and say more regarding this child. Is that the child that was carried to death by SW? Nay, Victor says. He shall spring from the third lotus of the seventh star. Speak. Hast thou not suffered the torments from Graphiel? Speak plain. I don't want to be imprisoned in this form. What dost thou want? The question was not recorded at the time, but later in Crowley's note in hand it says, what's the time of the sacrifice? Probably the second question. Quote, will success attend that particular design of which it is not lawful to speak? Bartzabel answers, 4th month of the 3rd year of the Aeon. Thou shalt not be there. Now, 3rd year of the Aeon is 1907, and this is 1910. So Crowley says, that hour is past. Do not lie. And then Bartzabel says, why should I tell you? Who art thou? And then Crowley says, I am, and he probably, his footnote says he gives that sign of the magician. Speak regarding the sacrifice to Rahur Kuit. I know not, is the answer. The slain child. Bartzabel answers, I have lied. Tell the truth, Bartzabel says. Can't. I charge thee. Oh, ask again. Who is the child? Bartzabel, ask again. Crowley repeats the question. He shall be the child of Saturn, of Moon and Saturn. He shall bear on his forehead the sevenfold star of midnight. He shall be slain as was spoken in that place which was known only to thee and one other. He lives? Or he says it, all of this in Latin. Vivit? He lives? Bartzabel says, he lives. Crowley says, where? Bartzabel says, he dwells in that place I have no words. Speak in figures, etc. Kabbalah, etc. He shall be sought near a stream of water running between two mountains. The child is yet unborn. He shall be the child of those who have sought love in the valley of the stars, sojourn in a cave, and been on the summit of Abiegnus. Then this sacrifice is to come? Yes. What is his number? 43. Crowley says, thou liest. 7791. And the great number? Won't tell. Crowley commands him to speak. May not speak. Crowley threatens him. Ask me not that. Crowley repeats the question. Bartzabel answers, 8. And when shall the sacrifice be accomplished? Thou didst lie, saying soon. Bartzabel says, it shall be thrice accomplished. When will the second time be? 2nd year, 3rd month, 22nd day, 9th hour. And the third sacrifice? 130th year, 6th moon, 2nd day, 4th hour, 8th hour, and 12th hour. These things shall be fulfilled. Let me go. Crowley threatens and cautions B to speak the truth. Will the particular design succeed? Yes. How knowest thou that our thoughts coincide? By the symbols I see. What are they? The rose and cross. Give me the particular symbols. Silver snake, waning moon, and 12 triumphant and 3 submerged in the sea of matter, 7 stars on the horizon for a sign. Will the heart perish? Crowley asks. Yes. And by that which is sworn to destroy it? Yes. That and something else. What else? A black curse. Now, I don't know what was going through Crowley's mind, but compared to the smooth elegance of everything else that came before this, this was obviously not working out really great. And Bartzabel says, "Thou shalt take those who are fitted, and they shall aid the weak." So that was one of the questions. How shall we aid the weak? Thou shalt take those who are fitted, and they shall aid the weak. What sign shall be given unto us? A sword and a ring. A ring equals silver snake with ruby eyes around an opal. Crowley says, "Thou liest regarding the snake, because silver snake is the subject of my thoughts regarding the sign of the sword. Explain." So in other words, Crowley was testing him. Crowley was thinking beforehand of that silver snake ring. And then he asked Victor about it, and then Victor sort of read his mind. So it wasn't coming from Bartzabel. It was coming from Crowley's mind, and this confirmed it to Crowley. Bartzabel says, "A sword of destruction and sacrifice." Well, how does that aid the weak? Bartzabel, by slaying them. When shall the sign of sword be given? 11 days, 303 days, and then 560th day from now. When shall the sign of the ring be given? After 3 moons. Fourth question. And the fourth question was, give a sign of courage and energy of Mars that floweth and shall ever flow through us by virtue of this ceremony. Okay. So here's the sign of courage and energy of Mars. A black tau, inverted, head down. May I depart? Nay. Shall nations rise up against one another? Bartzabel says, when? Soon. Yes. When? Within 5 years. Turkey and Germany. So within the beginning of World War I, in other words. That was the payoff. They were through. Crowley decided to wrap it up. So he wraps it up with the benediction. Let Rahur Kuit bless thee. Let his light shine perpetually in thy darkness. Let his force eternally brace up thy weakness. Let his blessing be upon thee forever and forever. Verily, yea, verily, and amen. Let his blessings be upon thee forever and ever. Then he gives the license to depart. Oh, now, O thou spirit Bartzabel, since thou didst come at my behest and swear faith and fealty unto me by the Lord of the Aeon, I license thee to depart in peace with the blessing of the Lord until such time as I have need of thee. Finally, the closing. Let the chief magus perform the banishing ritual of Mars. Give great thanks unto the Lord of the Aeon, and perform the lesser rituals of the pentagram and hexagram. Now, I wasn't there. And all this talk about child sacrifice and everything else will give plenty of ammunition for TV evangelists and uh, and people that are quick to say, "Whoa, Crowley was sacrificing babies as early as 1904." No, she lost the child. Perhaps it was voluntary abortion, whatever it was. Crowley never killed a child, never sacrificed a child. When they're talking about that, they must be talking about something different, including the potentiality of the spilling of sexual fluids. But anyway, I don't think, I think everything up to the actual appearance of the spirit is a fantastic document and an example of somebody who has great command of the English language writing a classic evocation ceremony. But I tell you, I don't even think Crowley was at all satisfied with how Victor got himself possessed or with indeed any of the answers that he got. And now I may be wrong, and maybe we can all get out our calendars and look at the timeline of history and see how all of those, the third month of the 17th day of the hour of the 330th day, how all of that worked out. But to tell you the truth, I personally don't find that, I wouldn't have found that helpful to my magical work or my magical progress. I have done Goetic evocations that I consider the result key elements in my magical work and highly successful from that point of view. This particular one, I think it was a matter of all sorts of conflicting or at least inharmonious wills. Crowley was doing this for Commander Marston, who wanted to know tactics and geopolitical uh, uh, shenanigans going on. Crowley wanted to display great magical technical prowess. And Victor Newberg just being a goddamn good sport. And Layla, Crowley's new girlfriend, along for the ride, okay? And I hope you don't think that I'm being disrespectful to the memory of the great beast, but it proves to me that he's just as human as any of us. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little trip through the evocation of Bartzabel. It's found in that form. Come not in that form. It comes in that form in this book, Vision and the Voice. Naturally, it's out of print. Vision and the Voice with commentary and other papers. But I'm sure you can just go Evocation of Bartzabel on the internet and get, if not a very good rendering of it, at least give you some idea of what I've just been reading for the last 4 days. So that being said, I'm going to close it for today. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for Saturday morning cartoons. Until then, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will.